Good afternoon. It is afternoon here. It's fairly warm, but here's the setup. I'm going to be doing a little video demonstrating this Emberlit backpacking stove. I just purchased it. I'm looking forward to spending a couple of days backpacking up in Red River Gorge here in Kentucky, and I thought this would be an excellent opportunity to try one of these out. I've seen them on the internet, but you know, what the heck, let's try it. I do recommend people always test gear before they take gear out. Be sure you understand how it's going to perform, how it's going to work, and this is ideal conditions. I'm doing this on the edge of the carport simply because the grass around here is a little bit dry and I just don't feel like stomping out little fires. Now what I've done is I've taken this thing and actually loaded it pretty heavy with a load of wood, but I wanted to show you before I lit it that it would allow a can of sterno or similar fluid, cooking fuel, to fit down in there, and you could use alternative fuel. But the thing about backpacking is I want to carry something that I don't have to carry fuel. And this little stove, while it's not a true through packer's ultralight dream, not at least not the stainless steel version, I think it weighs about 13 ounces, something like that. It does fold up nice and flat and fit into the carrying case that they provided. The carrying case helps you keep all the pieces together, and let's see if I can get it up here where you can see it. It even has some instructions in case you got to figure out how to put it together. It's really not hard. Excuse me. There's 4 side pieces, a bottom piece, and a couple of cross members. They're all notched. They fit together very nicely, and it seems to be very, very sturdy. The thing I like about it personally is that unlike some of the fueled backpacking stoves, you've got a center point so that whenever you set your cooking device, whether it's a pot cup like this one or a frying pan, it's fairly stable. You don't have to worry about it flipping over or anything of that nature. Some of the 3-armed cook devices, little stoves, they're not that way, and you're always constantly holding it or worrying about it turning over. So I've just kind of overstuffed it actually with a little bit of pine straw, and I picked up a dead lighter. Surely not. Kind of overstuffed it with a little bit of pine straw, and really these are just there's a few twigs in there with actually just kind of the larger twigs you see are actually pithy stalks of stubble from some nuisance weeds and things that were growing in the garden. I'm going to let it fire up and get burning here. Now what I'm actually going to do to test it is I have in my standard little trail pot, I have 2 cups of water, and while that's beginning to fire up, I'm going to go ahead and set that on and get it good and smoky. I like good smoky cookware. Let's see, it is 4:07 in the afternoon. We're going to let this thing fire up and see what it'll do. Now, again, the beauty of this one, as opposed to carrying some of the ones that can only burn one type of fuel, let's turn that handle around out of the flame, my goodness, is that the abundance of fuel when you're on the trail. And hopefully I'm not going to be picking up such smoky fuel. I just grabbed the first thing I came to out here today. Once it gets hot, I'm sure we'll get rid of some smoke. As you can see, while you're cooking, you don't have to remove the pot. You can add fuel right through the hole in the side. That's the way it's designed. And we're going to see about how long this takes. So rather than watch water boil, we're going to be back in just a minute. Okay, it's about 4:12 right now, and again you can see the only thing I'm feeding this is little stubbly weed stalks, basically, not even real wood. And at about 5 minutes, I'm going to lean this over and see if you can actually see in there. We got a little bit of a boil starting. Now I'm convinced that had I had some decent fuel, like maybe some oak twigs or some ash or anything besides just stubble out of the garden, this thing would have had a rolling boil by now, because as you can see, as I fuel it up, the little stubble kind of tends to flame out on me. But there you go. That's kind of a review real quick of the Emberlit folding camp stove. I would say this has been pretty successful. I'm looking forward to taking it on the trail and giving it a good workout, see how it really works for me. As always, be safe, get outside, and go adventure.